Hello, my name is Andrew, and today we're doing a first look at Lono's new casual shoe, the Nomad. I like the toe box a lot on this thing. I think it's the widest style Lono's done so far. There's a little bit of taper here, and then it's mostly straight, so great shape. In terms of the upper, it's all leather, and it's like a cream color, which I definitely prefer over white because you can actually get it dirty and it still looks nice. Like when I first saw the Nomad on Lono's site, it had a little bit of dirt on it, which I thought was pretty cool. And with the sort of like digital glitchy stuff, I was wondering if they were doing kind of like a distressed post-apocalyptic type sneaker. Anyways, up top, you've got some nice flat laces. They're a little bit lighter colored than the cream of the upper, but not quite pure white. On the inner side here, you've got a bunch of perforation, which is great for airflow, and leather is already really breathable, so this shoe is gonna be awesome in summer. But right now in Rochester, it is 4 degrees with a negative wind chill, so I have not gone on a long walk with the Nomad yet. It's a nice office shoe for wearing indoors though, because the leather looks really classy, but it's also got a full leather lining. There's a bit of suede here, so it's very soft feeling. There's nothing hard or pressing anywhere on the leather. Tongue's got a nice amount of padding too, and Lono's got the Latin here for fortune favors the bold, and a couple more on the inside like fuck the rules that do not concern me. The outside is a little bit more closed off, but they do have the Lono logo as perforation, which is kind of cool. And the heel is padded as well, which prevents rubbing. I like that it's a bit lower cut. I didn't feel it on my ankle like I do with some higher cut barefoot shoes. And by higher cut, I mean low cut shoes that have an ankle that's too high, because that seems to be the norm for some reason. There's also some minimal support for durability here on both sides and then on the back as well. And for the sole, it's 6 millimeters, but it does not feel like a 6 millimeter shoe. And that's partially because the sole here is 4 millimeters, and then they've got about 2 millimeters of slight padding in there. So it's a very typical shoe from Lono. Lots of flexibility, really good ground feel and sensitivity, but just a little bit more padding. Like I mentioned, it's almost like a rock climbing shoe, so it does grip really well on hard surfaces, and there's a bit of texture there, so it can handle some water, but like most flat soles, if you're on really slippery terrain like ice or something like that, it's not going to give you as much traction. Although the rubber is kind of gummy, and it's a bit different than something like the Soft Star. It has like a road sole. It's really hard rubber, you know? So it does kind of conform to any sort of terrain like pavement that has a little bit of texture too. Obviously the Nomad is mostly a casual shoe, but I think you could do a little bit of low-key road running with it, maybe even some tennis or pickleball, because there's just enough rubber here where it can take a little bit of beating, more so than something like the Vivo Barefoot Sensus, which is 3 millimeters, and it's so thin that you really don't even want to take it on gravel. But yeah, another good thing about the padding here is that it has very nice heel lock. There's a good cup there, and then you've got this ridge along the heel, plus a bit of support here. So yeah, lots of versatility for the Nomad. Although I will say, like walking out the door when it's 4 degrees outside, you can feel the air coming in here, so probably not the best option for winter. I'm usually wearing boots anyways. And if you step in a puddle, that water could come through here, especially since the sole is flat and it's not wrapping up the sides of the shoe. But Lono is already working on some updates to the Nomad, which is really impressive. And it's honestly something that they're better at than any barefoot brand I've seen, where they'll get feedback and then literally within like weeks or maybe a month or two, they've already got a new version out with all of the problems corrected, or just totally new features they came up with just from being a creative company. Like case in point, like this box that the Nomad came in, it's literally a mirror. Like Lono's other styles, they give you a little insole. It's got cork on the top for natural material if you wanted to wear it barefoot and you don't want something synthetic against your skin. Then it's got foam on the bottom. Good amount of flexibility. There's just a little bit of padding here, but it's not too crazy. Although personally, I don't really think you need it unless you're doing something very heavy impact like tennis or basketball, because the sole itself is protective enough and soft enough where it just has a tiny bit of squish. But overall, I think Lono did a really excellent job with the Nomad being their first casual sneaker too. It's got the leather upper, the perforation for warmer weather, and so you can wear it barefoot. The sole is nicely flexible, but it's got a good amount of grip and protection, and it's the widest style they've made yet, which is awesome. Anyways, I'll keep you guys updated when the weather gets a little bit warmer. I can go on some more walks, maybe even some runs with the Nomad. But in the meantime, if you'd like to support the channel, you can shop with the referral links below, browse and filter more products with the shoe finder tool on my website barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the Lono Nomad or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.